It's about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And I got to tell you, I am fired up today. I was excited to do radio, but something happened this morning on my drive to the studio, and it has me literally lit up on fire. I can't wait to tell you guys about it because I'm not only lit up, I am pissed off right now, and I got to get something off my chest. That's going to be coming up in the first segment. We're throwing everything up in the air today just because this happened, and it shook my day up. And I got to tell you guys about it, and I definitely want you to chime in on social media when I do. That's coming up in the next segment, but we got an epic show lined up today. If you like off-road, boom, this is where it's at today. Going back to our roots, like from 6 years ago, man. We are talking off-road today. That was like the big motorsports over the weekend. You got to talk it. My good friend Cameron Steele, you know him from ESPN, from X Games, from being a TV personality with MAV TV. Well, Mr. Cameron Steele took his very first ever trophy truck victory and score this past weekend. He is going to be on the line talking about his amazing run down there in Baja this past weekend. And then we've got my Polaris Razor teammate, Mr. RJ Anderson. He absolutely destroyed the field in Pro 2 and Pro 4 this weekend at Glen Helen in Lucas Oil, and we got RJ Anderson on the line, and he's going to talk about his epic weekend as well as the new Polaris Razors that dropped. So always fun having Mr. RJ Anderson on. We've also got some massive SST news. That's Stadium Super Trucks. We've got NHRA to talk about. Obviously, Score, Lucas Oil. We've got just a ton of content. Nitro World Games. A lot of it coming at you here today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want to hang tight? It's going to be one hell of a good show. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, fired up on this Tuesday morning. I guess depending on when you listen, it's Tuesday morning. If you're live online, it could be Saturday, Sunday morning. Who knows? If you're an iTunes listener, any day of the week. But you know, I've got a routine every morning, right? When I'm in Parker, and you guys obviously know I live in Parker, Arizona. You know, get up, do my thing. Anyways, ultimately at the end of the morning, I got to take my daughter to school. Park in the same spot every day, walk her to the gate. Then I walk out, I get in my truck, I drive down the street, and and go to my studio, right? This morning, same thing. Drop my daughter off, get in my truck, and it's a school zone, right? 15-mile-an-hour school zone. So I get in my truck, and I drive just like normal, and, there's a couple schools back-to-back, so you got to kind of, drive through there slow, hit the stop sign, and then, the school zone ends, and boom, you get to keep on keeping on, right? Well, I pull out, just like normal. Get in the truck. I'm, looking for kids. There's a crossing guard there, so stop for the crossing guard, and they let the kids go by, and, hit the gas on the truck and go, and it's about a 3-block run through the school zone till the next stop sign, and then you leave the school zone, right? So I let the crossing guard get all the kids across, and I speed up after that. There's, no cars, no kids, nothing like that in front of the schools. So I speed up to 22 miles an hour. And then, and then I let off, and it's just like coming out of, any stop sign. You hit the gas, you speed up, right? Well, I sped up to 22 and then, and then slowed down and then coast to the next stop sign and, go. Well, I guess this cop, who obviously is not a friend of mine, and I was not a very nice person to him. I'm being nicer to you guys than I was to him, but he decided that that my peak speed of 22 miles an hour warranted a ticket. And it wasn't that it was a constant 22. It was that I accelerated after the crossing guard up to 22 before I let off the gas and then coasted back down to 15. I guess that half a second momentary lapse in judgment that allowed me to go 7 miles an hour over the speed limit warranted a ticket. So, anyways, it wasn't like he pulled me over to the school. No. We're just going to wait until Jimmy gets to his studio, which is like a half a mile away. So this guy, literally, I was out of my truck walking to the door, and this guy pulls in with his lights on. And I'm like, what's going on? He walks up, well, you're speeding in the school zone. I'm like, well, I got you on radar, 22 and a 15. I mean, like, for reals, man? Like, seriously? I don't know. This guy, I don't know if I don't know. Anyways, this is one Mr. Jimmy gets to go to court and fight it, and I will, and it should be entertaining to say the least. So, yeah, if you want to know why I'm fired up and pissed off this morning, it's because I got a ticket, and it was a crap ticket. If I deserve a ticket, give me a damn ticket, right? I mean, there's been lots of times I've been going 75 and a 55, out in the middle of the desert, across the desert. Pull me over. Dude, I deserve a ticket. Absolutely. I won't argue with you. Man, write me a ticket. We'll be friends. I'll buy you a beer later, and when you get off duty and I'm not driving and, I deserved it. Dude, you caught me, like, whatever. This one, nah, I don't deserve it. I'm sorry. I don't deserve it. I don't want to sound entitled, but it was a crap ticket. So anyways, if you want to know why I'm fired up today, that's why I'm fired up. I got written a ticket for something that I don't think wasn't like I was blazing through there at 35 and a 15 or something like that. I mean, there was a momentary lapse where I went to 22 when I accelerated, and then I brought it back down to 15. But he just caught me, I guess, quote, caught me on radar at 22. So whatever, man. Hope you met your quota. I hope those officers give you the big bonus. And hey, you guys got to know, I'm a massive, massive supporter of the police department. And you guys don't know, man. I have family members that are police officers, massive, massive supporters of police officers, but I'm a massive supporter of police officers when they do the right thing. This dude, nope, didn't do the right thing. See you in court, brother. So, yeah, that is the way I'm starting this show today. I don't know if you can start it any other way when you get pulled over like I did. But, yeah, we went there. We did. We went there right off the bat this morning, and we're we're gonna just keep rolling with things, I guess. But yeah, so there's a lot going on. We got some big SST news to talk about. Actually, really, really looking forward to talking about this SST news. I think we're gonna do that. I want to use a full segment on it. Maybe we'll do that next for sure. I do want to quick talk about NHRA though. We haven't talked about NHRA. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had my boy Steve Torrance on. And I got to tell you, Steve Torrance, I've had a lot of people ask, when you getting Torrance back on? Well, the thing is, like, he was on a few weeks ago. We've had him on 2 or 3 times this year. The dude is just on a mission right now, on fire, in fuego, Mr. Steve Torrance. He is... I could have him on every week. Like, he deserves his own segment. You want to talk about a guy with a chip on his shoulder? Steve Torrance. And he'll be the first to tell you, and I know he's done a lot of other interviews recently, he's talked about it. He feels like last year he was screwed out of the NHRA Top Fuel Championship. Rightfully so. I don't want to say screwed because Brittany Force, she came on strong at the end. You know what I mean? And she won the championship, right? But Steve dominated 90% of the year. He had his points, he built up, and and he ended up having an accident late in the year, and because of the way they structure things where everything resets right at the end, everything he'd done up until that point didn't count. And so he kind of, in a way, he got screwed out of the championship. If it would have been like they used to do it, he would have been the champion. So this year, Steve's got a chip on his shoulder. We saw it all year long, just dominated the Top Fuel ranks. Now we get to basically the NHRA version of the playoffs. And Steve is just destroying everyone right now in Top Fuel. The dude is just on fire. He is on a mission, and Steve is just, it's crazy how good Steve Torrance has been. So yet another win at the Midwest Nationals there at Gateway Motorsports Park. Steve just continuing to dominate. So, you want to talk about a man on a mission. I think there's maybe like 3 NHRA rounds left, and 3 or 4. I should know this. I think 3. I'm going to have to double check, right? So we're pulling up their handy-dandy website. And, yes, we've got... just looking down here. Where are we? Yeah, countdown to the championship. We're going on, and just like I said, we've got 4 rounds left. All right, we got Texas, and then we got a couple of 4 wides, both Carolina, and then at Las Vegas, and then we've got the one in Pomona. So to finalize things. So we got I guess 4 rounds left, but Steve, man, he is on fire right now, just dominating Top Fuel. Another big win there. And, and like Steve said, and this goes back into some of his things. He's been on this show before and said it. He's been on other shows. It's not like, Steve pulls any punches whatsoever. That's one thing I love about Steve-O. You always know what is on Mr. Torrance's mind. He says, hey, look, man, he goes, if John Force would have had to, what has John won, like 15, 16 championships? I should know this, and I don't right off the top of my head. He's like, if he had to go through this playoff system, he's like, he'd have half the titles he has today. The truth. You look at NASCAR, Richard Petty, probably the same thing, right? Dale Earnhardt, probably the same thing. So, he says the legends of NHRA with all these championships, if they had to do what I'm doing, they wouldn't have all the championships. John Force wouldn't be the guy he is today if they had this in place years ago. So, kind of side with him on that. I agree, but Steve just dominating right now. He's going to win within the confines of this thing in the NHRA, but he's definitely pushing for change. Robert Hite taking the funny car win. Tanner Gray, Pro Stock. Matt Smith on Pro Stock Motorcycle. Got to give a shout out to our friend of the show, Leah Pritchett. Took the Factory Stock Showdown Championship this past weekend. So Leah Pritchett, she does double duty in Top Fuel and in Factory Stock Showdown. She took that win and took the championship this year. So big shout out to Miss Leah Pritchett. So yeah, we are going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. We come back, we are going to be talking about Stadium Super Trucks. That is right. Big news coming out of Stadium Super Trucks. We're going to talk about that when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by, you guessed it, Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show. And we've got some amazing partners. I want to, tell you about one of them. It's crazy they're getting involved in the show, but it's somebody that I've used for I believe about 2 years now. I'd have to double check, but I'm on the road a ton, right? And so I'm always looking for media and content. And Audible has definitely helped me out. They've got audiobooks, which are great. They go along with road tripping, anything in the summer outdoors, right? You can load them into your iDevice, your phone, just about anything, and catch some great audiobooks. Listening is also a better way to binge content while doing what you love. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, which lets you fill your summer and now, I guess, fall with stories like the one from Jeff Gordon, his autobiography, right? It's funny. I bought the physical book, didn't have a chance to read it, so I download it on, with Audible. And now I've been able to, listen to Jeff Gordon's biography. It's called Jeff Gordon, His Dream, Drive, Destiny. Definitely worth it. Kind of a behind-the-scenes look and at Jeff Gordon's career and his life and what goes on. You get a glimpse into the things that you didn't get to see while he was actually racing. You see this public persona, Jeff Gordon. You didn't get to know him behind the scenes. This book, that's available on Audible, definitely, kind of gives you that window into Jeff Gordon. So, and I wouldn't been able to catch up on it if it wasn't for Audible, because obviously I didn't have time to read the physical copy. But Audible helps you listen to more books by letting you switch seamlessly between devices, picking up exactly where you left off, whether it's on your phone, through your car, tablet, or at home on Amazon Echo. You get tons of books, hands and eyes free, while doing almost anything. Audible members get a credit every month for any audiobook in the store, regardless of price, and unused credits roll over to the next month. Didn't like your audiobook? Well, exchange it. No questions asked. Plus, your books are yours to keep. With Audible, you can go back and re-listen anytime, even if you cancel your membership. So, I got a deal for you guys. You start a 30-day free trial or a 30-day trial today. Your first audiobook is free. That's right, a 30-day trial, and your first audiobook is free. Doesn't matter the cost. Go to audible.com/downanddirty or text with SMS code to 500-500, and you can do it with audiobooks. So it's audible.com/downanddirty, and you'll get a 30-day trial and your first audiobook free. So definitely check it out. I've got that link. I'm going to have it up on Twitter here shortly. Also got it on the website, so click through. It is audible.com/downanddirty, and you got to use that code if you want your free book and the 30-day trial. So first audiobook free. I'm telling you, grab that Jeff Gordon book. You're not going to be disappointed. But yeah, so we've got a ton going on in the world of motorsports right now. Some seasons are winding down, others just kind of getting cranked up. I know, Desert Dune season is upon us for us in the Southwest. Baja 1000 still to come. Stadium Super Trucks, though. We got to talk Stadium Super Trucks. We've been talking a lot about them this year. Their content's doing really, really well on the website. Thank you guys that are consuming that, going and checking out what my buddy Chris is writing over there. Definitely, you guys have shown us you have interest in SST. Well, obviously, SST is really big here in the States. They do a little bit in Canada. They've gone to China. But SST has really found a home in Australia. And you got guys like Matt Brabham, who good friend of the show, good friend of mine. He's found a home there. You got guys like Toby Price. You know him from Dakar. He's from Australia. He always runs the rounds down there. There's a lot of guys from Australia that we see, and I'm just naming a few, right? Well, we know you guys remember. I can't remember if it was last year or earlier this year when SST was down there. Robbie Gordon, they were there was a street, and it was kind of there was a bar and nightclub, and they had a bunch of SST trucks on display, and Robbie Gordon got in the truck and did a burnout in the middle of the street. Well, the police, God, why are the police such a big deal on this show today? Why are we talking about things that the police don't like? I don't know. They must not like race car drivers. But Anyways, the police down there in Australia frowned on this, right? So I can't quite remember the full details of the story, but anyways, Robbie Gordon got in a lot of trouble, big fine. And then immediately CAMS, which basically is a Confederation of Australian Motorsport, they got involved, banned SST from Australia. Boom, banned. You guys are out, done, whatever. Find him. You can't come back. Robbie Gordon, we hate you. See you later, bye. Right? Well, Robbie paid the fine, and he said, hey, I messed up, probably shouldn't have done that. He does stuff like that in the States all the time, and, he gets away with it. If anybody's doing it, and they say, oh, it wasn't a safe environment. Robbie, he pushes the limits, but he doesn't go over them. And I honestly, knowing the burnout, seeing the video or whatever that got posted, wasn't that bad. Somebody down there with CAMS in Australia has it out for Mr. Gordon. That whole deal, the original burnout, it should have been a fine. I agree. He was on a public street, whatever. Write him a ticket, get on with life. But they're going to ban an entire series that's got guys like Matt Brabham who's keeping him employed. Seriously, Brabham, he's done the Indy 500 V8 Supercars. He lost his V8 Supercar ride, which was a bummer. And it really wasn't on Matty Brab's, it wasn't his fault. It was just, it's politics. But seriously, SST is keeping this dude, he's an Australian, keeping him in a race car, funded, and keeping him, an occupation. Now you take some of his home events. He's a dual citizen, United States and Australia, but take some of his home events there in Australia away, and where he's massively popular, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt his program. He's a celebrity down there, right? And he's got the Brabham last name. So, and it's not just Matty. I mean, you're not going to see Toby Price run into the States. He runs when he's in Australia, because it's a big deal and he can get sponsors and funding for it. Toby, love Toby, good friend of mine. He's probably not going to, run any here in the States, unless he can scrape together the money. But American sponsors don't want to fund Toby Price. The Australian ones that do. Now you've got some of these key guys that we've seen in SST trucks. Now they're going to be out of a ride. And it's all because somebody there at CAMS, and it's not the police. They opened the can of worms by writing them a ticket. But CAMS now has decided they're banning SST permanently, and they've been a staple on the V8 Supercars series. And V8 Supercars, for you guys that don't know, I mean, that is basically NASCAR in Australia. And these things are badass. They came and ran at COTA a year or two ago, and they actually gave them proper television programming in the United States. I had so many people come to me and be like, what are we watching, and why don't we get more of this? Well, literally, it is V8 Supercars, a cross between NASCAR, road racing, and rallycross. It's like touring cars, but they bash and bang, and they got the big V8s, and I don't know how to explain it other than it's just rad, and I want more of it. Well, anyways, Robbie, he races with IndyCar here and runs a lot of those tracks. So he does the same thing in Australia. He does it with V8 Supercars. Business model that works for Robbie. Obviously running these big events in the Southwest, like they had at Lake Elsinore, and like we've got coming up the World Championships in Glen Helen. Those are big because he can go to a dirt track or an off-road track in his backyard or in the Southwest where Robbie is massively popular. But he's learned in these other markets he can piggyback with these mainstream massive series, and that's what's caused SST to explode. So CAMS now has decided because of there's not really any reason, and this is Jalopnik that broke the article or broke the story. And I've talked to Robbie recently earlier this week, and he didn't mention anything of this. But Cam's now saying the door is not 100% closed on the series making a comeback, yada, yada, yada. But what they're saying is it's not Robbie. It's the safety of the series. Jumping trucks is just too dangerous. And I'm like, seriously? Jumping trucks is too dangerous? You guys are the ones that embrace Nitro Circus. You embrace Crusty Demons of Dirt. You have the Fink Rally that is trophy trucks running across the middle of nowhere, Australia, across the outback in a race. You embrace WRC. I would much rather crash in an SST truck than I would in a rally car through the trees at 100 miles an hour. So they're saying that SST is unsafe, and that's why that SST isn't going to be in Australia anymore. So I don't know. I honestly, personally think it's a load of garbage. Somebody's got it out for Robbie Gordon and down there in Australia, and that's what this amounts to. So I don't know, and they keep bringing up the Matt Minge, injury, which I think really sucks because these trucks are really safe. That was absolutely just like Robert Wickens crash in an IndyCar. It was absolutely just a perfect storm of an accident. I'm not saying it couldn't happen again, but I'm like, you got to look at the bigger picture here. There's been a lot of SST crashes, and 99% of the time, people walk away from them. This was the fluke deal, and now they're going to dwell on it. It'd be like IndyCar dwelling on this Wickens thing. Is there things we can learn from that and make things better? Yes. But did that happen because the cars are unsafe? No. It just happened because it was a perfect storm of an accident. So, I don't know. I feel bad for Robbie. Australia, get your crap together. Get SST back down there. Robbie's got a ton of fans. People want SST down there. I think people are going to go to bat for him, and I think it'll be back. But Cams, shame on you. It's a load of crap what you guys are doing. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But I do, before we go to break, want to tell you about our friends at GoParts.com. And, I'm saving a lot of money on my auto parts. And believe me, I go through a lot of auto parts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jim, they're online. How's the customer service? Well, I had the same concerns until I used them. And believe me when I tell you, the service is second to none. In fact, 9 out of 10 customers polled say they not only use GoParts again, but they'd also recommend GoParts to their friends and family. Look, when you've been around for more than a decade, they know what they're doing. GoParts, this is why we wrench. That's go-parts.com, go-parts.com. Check them out, and you'll be glad you did. And we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I've partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online. in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my Polaris Razor teammate, Mr. R.J. Anderson, to the line. How is everything going, buddy?
What's going on, Jim? It's always going pretty good if I'm hearing your voice on the other end of the line.
Yeah, well, generally you got something big when we have you on air, whether you're dropping a video with, with Mad Media and Polaris, or you're coming off a weekend like you had this past weekend, dude. This was like a take no prisoners weekend for R.J. Anderson.
Yeah, totally. No, we had a great weekend at Lucasville Off-Road and Glen Helen. It's cool because Glen Helen's my hometown race. I grew up in Riverside, just down the street from San Bernardino. So, 20 minutes away or so, a bunch of my family and friends come out. And I've always had some bad luck gremlins fight me in Glen Helen. I've been racing Pro 2 this is my 5th year, and I've never even got on the podium there. I've led races. I've been on the podium in contention, and something always happens, whether it's a motor lets go or one time I had a right front shock let go, which never, ever happens. It's just something always happens to me in Glen Helen. So this weekend we brought our A game. We put in a lot of time on the trucks and did some testing and was able to come away with 2 wins, 1 in Pro 2, 1 in Pro 4, and 2 seconds, 1 in each class as well. So it was awesome to put those results in this weekend.
Yeah, finally got the Glen Helen monkey off your back, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Pro 4 has been awesome there. That for me, that's a win in 3 seconds in my career in Pro 4. So the Pro 4, for some reason, we have down at Glen Helen, but the Pro 2, man, it was nice to knock that monkey off my back for sure.
Yeah. Well, and how has that been with Pro 4? I mean, it's been a lot of guys, you know what I mean, that have, dude, this is the unlimited class, right? This is the big dogs in short course. Not to say Pro 2 isn't. I mean, this trucks are ridiculously fast. It's crazy to get a podium there. But, I mean, Pro 4, I mean, how has that transition been for you the past, since you've jumped into a Pro 4? I mean, guys like Kyle LeDuc who have been dominant in that class, obviously he's struggling as of late, dude. But it seems like you guys, jumping into that class, you guys are on fire this year. Yeah, no, totally. I'm actually the youngest guy, or the guy with the least amount of experience in the Pro 4 class. So this is only my 2nd year. Last year I won the Rookie of the Year and was 3rd in points and came on really strong at the end of the year last year. And then this year I've been leading the thing since round 2. So now going into our last round, round 11, still leading points is pretty crazy and pretty cool for my young team. And, man, we've just been putting in the work. We bought an old truck actually that people have already given up on. And some of my sponsors were like, are you sure that you're really going to buy that truck? And I'm like, yeah, I believe in my guys. And we've shown everyone that we were able to turn it around and make it fast, even with no experience in the Pro 4 class. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty surreal to be leading. I mean, starting my career 10, 11 years ago in a trophy cart and looking at Pro 4 class as the elite, it's hard to think just a decade later I'm the points leader in the elite class. Yeah, well, and, you're points leader in that, but you're doing a hell of a job in Pro 2 as well. How is that? I mean, you guys, I mean, obviously you're juggling Pro 2, Pro 4, all your UTV stuff. I mean, you've got Ronnie's Pro Light and his UTV stuff. I mean, there's a lot going on within your program. Yeah, there is a lot. Some people ask me, what my daily job's like, and I just laugh. There's no explaining, how much we go through on a daily and the long hours that get put in, but it's definitely all worth it. Yeah, I have my Pro 2, Pro 4, as well as all my UTV stuff. My brother's Pro Light, as well as his 2 UTVs. I have a customer, Trevor Layton, that actually bought one of my old championship trucks. He runs a Pro Light at the Lucas Oil Regional Series, and he has 2 UTVs. So there's literally so many cars underneath my camp and a lot of responsibility and different moving pieces, as well as all my content and video pieces I do with Polaris Razors. So there's a lot of moving parts under the RJ37 banner, and it keeps me busy for sure. But I think the majority of it is I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying what I do every day, and that's what keeps me motivated and keeps me going. It's rare that someone makes a living out of this off-road career, and I've branched out and had to make it a couple different ways, but I really enjoy what I do, and I love my job. Yeah, well, and I think that's the thing. That's the theme of things, and you talk to anybody in this industry that's making a living, and we've all had to branch out, and you got to have your hand in multiple cookie jars. You definitely do that, But I think that's saying something because, I look at you, and I've had conversations with your dad. And your dad, you told him you want to be a professional race car driver. Your dad says, "No, go get a real job. Don't put yourself through that pain." So I think they thought, a lot of people would think, "Oh, RJ had everything given to him." You did, man. You built this career, on your own, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely know on my own. I had lots of good help and people steering me in the right direction. But, my dad totally told me to get a real job, but I think he burned me out at a young age. I used to, when I was 15 years old, I would spend my summers working for Walker Evans Racing in the shock room, just building shocks. So when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, that's what I spent all my free time doing. Is I had a job, I had to work and make some money, and I realized, man, I don't want to work for someone else, even if it was my dad or guys I'd known in his company for a long time. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I think I got a shot at this. So through some of the context my dad had and through racing and through just starting slow and building my brand and building my name and starting to do video content, I've been able to build my race team. A lot of people think that my shop's, at my dad's shop and that he pays for everything. And I get that a lot, but I don't even really give any credit to it. I just kind of brush it off and I could see how some people would think that, but it's actually far from the truth. My dad stays so busy with his own thing that he barely even gets over to my shop nowadays. So, it's a full-on in-house deal that we have going on at RJ37. I have 5 employees of my own. I keep them busy for sure and keep all my guys on their toes.
Yeah. Well, and I know one of the big things, and I know everybody was excited about it, was, I know last year you were at Crandon and you ended up running a UTV, I think, and it was like a last-minute deal. But, I mean, you went back with the big trucks this year, with the proper presence of the semi-hauler and everything else. I mean, take us through Crandon, because I know I know you really well, and you always want to get back there. I mean, you grew up going to Crandon, but, how special was it this year to be back with your rig, your trucks, your program?
Yeah, it was really cool going back to Crandon. I mean, those are the best short course fans in the world back there. And Labor Day weekend to see the fans and the crowd that place commences is just really insane. So I kept saying, I'm coming back. It's been a couple of years. So now that I have a Pro 4, their Pro 2 class is a little bit different than ours. And I wasn't able to bring my Pro 2 this year, but I was able to bring the Pro 4 to Crandon for the first time. And, man, what an experience. Backing it into the gravel pit turn of Pro 4. It was pretty crazy. We came a little underprepared, racing out in the Lucas Oil Series. We're on a bunch of short tracks, so when you go out to Crandon, it's really high speed and there's just not a lot of laps. There's so much going on in the weekend. I think we showed up to our first race with 5 laps of practice, so didn't have a lot of laps, but to be able to go to the big house and compete and learn. The whole time I was there, I learned a lot. So the next time we come, we'll be way one step ahead, I guess, of where we were this year. But I left there with a third place in the Cup race, and it was overall a good weekend, and I learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, and, that being said, looking at next year, I mean, I guess everything's kind of in flux right now. We're still kind of waiting on Lucas to figure out, the format and the series and things like that. But, what else do you have planned, over the winter, I guess? Like we'd said earlier, it's desert season's coming up, right? Which means RJ Anderson gets to go out and have some fun at the dunes and and out in the dirt.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually have quite a bit of content and media stuff planned for over the off season that I'm excited about. So racing ends for me in October. I'm going to early November. Obviously, we have full Camp Razor right after my last race of the year. I have Camp Razor and then the SEMA show, so that keeps me busy. And right after that, I'm going to do another works race in my Polaris Razor. I just did one in Glen Helen, and I had a ton of fun getting back to my roots and just going out there with my brother and my family and having fun. So I'm going to do it's called, I think, the side-by-side championships for Works and Prim. I'll be doing it early November, and then have a couple events through mid-November, as well as Robbie Gordon's put on a race at Glen Helen that we're going to try to come and shake up. He's been talking smack on the internet, so we're going to have to remind Robbie Gordon who we are. So we're doing that early December, and then, man, before you know it, it's Christmas and into the year. So it's definitely jam-packed. Even though it's off-season, the work doesn't really stop.
Yeah, well, and I know Robbie, I've been getting texts, and it's funny because I think anybody that's a factory razor guy, I think we get these crazy, messages from Robbie Gordon, just talking smack on our posts and everything else. I find it comedic at this point, but I think it'll be rad. I don't have a proper car to go to Glen Helen and run that with, but I think it'll be awesome if you show up just because,
Yeah, Robbie's never talked smack to me. I don't think he's got enough leg to stand on in the side by side world. I think he knows he's bringing a knife to a gunfight if he starts talking smack to me and all my friends. So he hasn't picked the fight with me yet. So I'm bringing the fight to him.
Yeah, I think we ought to get something going. We ought to start talking smack back because I think we ought to do like a side bet, right? Where RJ gets to drive an SST truck and his Razor against Robbie and his SST truck and his Razor, and do like a shootout between you guys, right? And winner take all type of thing.
Yeah, there we go. I'm ready for it. He's got to put his money where his mouth is, right?
Yeah. Too funny, man.
That's Robbie, right?
Yeah.
We all know Robbie.
Yeah, well, he's like one of these. He's like a boxing promoter, right? He's got to hype things up and draw the interest, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally.
Yeah. But anyways, moving forward, man, talking about Razor, dude, I know you were one of the first people. I know you got to drive one of the RS1s when those launched. We got to talk about this year for Razor because, I mean, you're kind of the face of the Razor brand, but Turbo S drop now just at Sand Sports. I know you and I were both out there. I didn't run into you, but the 4-seat Turbo S, that dropped, man. I mean, this has been a banner year for Razor. I mean, you're a guy who makes a living having fun in these things, man. It's got to have you amped for this winter season.
Yeah, the 4-seat Turbo S is insane. I got a chance to go out and drive and do some of the video production stuff that you'd seen that they released when they released the Turbo S. A lot of that was me driving, and I swear it. The first time I went out and drove it, I said, "This is insane. When does it stop? When does the progression stop?" You know, because I had 3 people in it with me, so it was your packs 4 full-size people, and we were going over some of the biggest whoops I've ever side by side, and we're in a bone stock Turbo S going 85 miles an hour, and I'm just laughing like, this isn't real. Like, how has this evolved from 2008 when I drove the first Razor and you could get on 2 wheels just turning out of your trailer to now you're going 85 over the biggest whoops in Johnson Valley. It's insane. I really can't put it into words. And all the technology with the dynamics, active suspension, it's really crazy to think of what's happened in 10 years, and the sky's the limit in the next 10 years, where it's going.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about that active suspension, and obviously, you know what I mean, your family's involved in the shock industry as well. I mean, looking down the road, I mean, you think that stuff that active suspension, like we could see stuff like that in a Pro 4, in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think totally. I mean, that's what's crazy with side-by-sides is the technology that's in this Razor is getting, leaps and bounds closer to the technology that's in that Pro 4. And I think in the Pro 4 stuff, they keep that away from us because they don't want it just turning into who spends the most money. Yeah. As far as if you think 10 more years consists of, you might not be too far off of a Pro 4. It's pretty crazy to think that, but I mean, just the last 10 years have shown that what these manufacturers are capable of, and especially with Polaris Razor pushing everyone to the forefront.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, man, one more question, and I know this is one I'm sure you get hit up with a lot. I know you and the Martellis did a lot of filming last year out in the snow. I'm assuming at some point we got a new version of XP1K coming. Any window into possibly, is that like a 2019 thing potentially?
Yeah, so we still have another. We dropped a Snowblind, which was the first installment of our Vision series this year with snowboarder Torstein Horgmo, and we have one more of those. So it's just been kind of with everything and me and Razor and Martellis and all the other partners involved is, getting the time to go out and do it. But we do have something cool planned. I can't give you all the details, but it's not going to be just me. There'll be another athlete out there with me, and we have another Visions coming. So I am excited to say that we do have that in the works.
Nice. Definitely looking forward to that, my friend. Always fun catching up, RJ. I mean, I guess we'll see you out at Camp Razor for sure. You got, Off-Road Expo, got the big Lucas finale coming up in Phoenix. So a lot of stuff in the next month. I'm sure we'll see you around, my friend.
Yep. Sounds good, Jim. We'll keep in touch.
Always fun catching up with RJ Anderson. Dude is absolutely shredding in Lucas Oil not this weekend, this year. Just doing a phenomenal job in both Pro 4 and Pro 2. Amazing to see how far he's come with his program and, kind of get a little bit of in-depth analysis on what he's got cranking. But we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And just like that little promo there said, I do have this show on iTunes. You listen to national syndication, thank you. Listening online on our website, thank you. But also have it on iTunes. Please go over there and subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. And I've got a second show called Project Action. It drops on Thursdays, and we have been slaying it lately. I have my good friend BC Vaught, former drummer for Head PE last week. He now is an action sports agent, just doing a bunch of killer interviews. So look at this guest lineup coming up on the next couple of weeks. This week we've got Natalie Ava Marie. You guys may know her from WWE, All Red Everything, Flamin' Red Hair, right? She was on like Total Divas, a bunch of stuff. Anyway, she's got a new podcast on Podcast One. She is my guest this week. Amazing interview. I'm sure you guys have seen her on TV, things like that. Fun to kind of get her full story. So I've got her. We've got my good friend Eddie Braun, professional stuntman. He's got a new movie that just debuted in Los Angeles. It'll be in theaters, I believe, later this year, called Stuntman. He was the guy who recreated the Snake River Canyon jump where Evel Knievel launched in the rocket, tried to go over the canyon, crashed in the middle. Well, Eddie Braun was the guy who recreated that, shot himself over the canyon, and successfully did it. This movie documents his career and that stunt. Eddie Braun is my guest. And then we've also got my good friend Sean Whalen. You guys know him from social media, Lions Not Sheep. He's written a book, best-selling author, motivational speaker. He's also an off-road racer, public personality. The dude is awesome. Great interview with Sean Whalen. And then also just got rumor we're working on it. Potentially Tony Hawk will be a guest soon on Project Action as well. So slaying it over there. Make sure and check it out. Also check out our website, downanddirtyshow.com. We got all kinds of content dropping there each and every week. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We're going to be talking with Cameron Steele here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
And we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, kicking off hour number 2. And thank you guys for tuning in once again. Looking at hour number 2, it's going to be one heck of a good hour, I think. I got my friend Cameron Steele. You know him from ESPN and the X Games. He is slotted in for 2 segments this hour, so going super long here with Mr. Cameron Steele. He's also nominated for the Off-Road Hall of Fame. Don't want to say nominated. He's actually going in. He's going to be an inductee in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame this November. I guess actually late October. It's SEMA week anyways. Weird the way it works out this year. But Cameron Steele is there. He also won the SCORE race, so we're going to catch up with Cameron Steele. Also going to be talking about SCORE there at Tijuana. We've got Glenn Helen to talk about. Also Nitro World Games, that coming up as well. So a ton of stuff to talk about here in hour number 2. Definitely looking at that. Which brings us to, real quick, a Dirtfish Rally report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And now we're going to roll with some Nitro World Games results. 3 big events happening this weekend. Your winners in FMX. We're actually going to throw some FMX in this one because it all ties in with Nitro World Games, just so you guys know. But yeah, Pat Bowden taking the win there, and Josh Sheeny getting second, Adam Jones in third. So that was your top 3 in best trick. FMX quarter pipe, it was Colby Raha with the win, and Nitro Rallycross, it was Timmy Hansen, Matthias Ekstrom, and Mr. Tanner Faust finishing 1, 2, and 3. My boy Steve Arpin finishing up there in the 4th spot. Had DNFs from quite a few guys. We're going to jump into talking about Nitro Rallycross here in the next segment. So we're going to kind of extend this Dirtfish Rally report a hair, I guess. But just thought we'd get those results in there before I forgot. But Nitro World Games, another one in. And I know they had some of the skate and BMX competitions like a month or so ago. It's kind of spreading things out and trying to, they're getting creative with Nitro World Games. So, we'll talk about Nitro Rallycross coming up in the next segment, though. So that coming up, as well as some SCORE and some Glenn Helen, Lucas Oil talk when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Any questions, any comments from me, hit me up at JimBeaver15, and we will make sure and get them into the next segment here on your favorite Action Motorsports radio show. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
All killer, no filler today. We got a couple of great guests. Got done with R.J. Anderson. We got Cameron Steele coming up. We're going to be talking Glen Helen score and a little Nitro Rallycross here momentarily. But I want to tell you, doing a little collaborative effort with my good friends James Hinchcliffe and Alexander Rossi. You know them from IndyCar. They're some of the top IndyCar drivers in the Verizon IndyCar Series. I guess the series name might be changing for next year. They also do a bit of reality TV. Both guys are race car drivers, and they have a podcast. But it's not just a racing podcast. It focuses on pop culture and sports in general. It is called, losing my train of thought here. It is called Off Track with Hinch and Rossi, man. I'm getting text messages on this Nitro Rallycross thing as we speak, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Sorry, Hinch and Rossi. Off Track with Hinch and Rossi. They both competing in the Verizon IndyCar Championship. The show takes you through their whirlwind schedule and includes updates on races. They have unique experience climbing their way to the upper echelons of open-wheel racing. Through that, bring a perspective no one else can. Both guys have experience in reality TV, Dancing with the Stars, Amazing Race, Celebrity Family Feud, etc. So they're able to bring a unique view into the world of television and reality TV and pop culture. Guests on the show are other top performers in all industries, including John Green, Pat McAfee, Tony Stewart, Jeff Ross. Listen to Off Track with Hinch and Rossi today on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. No joke. It's one of the podcasts I actively listen to every single week. Definitely, well, at least when they have new episodes drop. Definitely worth the listen and the subscribe over there on on iTunes. So, yeah, talking about Nitro Rallycross, man, this was an interesting one. And anybody who says that anybody who says that I remain neutral, I remain honest on this show. I don't throw anybody under the bus unless they deserve it. But Nitro Rallycross, I gotta say, the track was insane. Credit to Travis Pastrana. All the drivers loved it for the most part. Massive jumps. I mean, this is one of those, you see it on paper and you go, they can never build it. No, they did, and it actually worked. Like, it was a rad track. You know, they had berms, big jumps. Like, the gap jump was insane. You've seen the pictures floating around social media, things like that. They killed it on the track. I guess like the drawbacks of this weekend. I know I didn't watch on TV. I should have. The reason why I didn't, it was on Velocity. I can't even tell you what channel Velocity is. And then if you wanted to watch on the internet, it was like the Motor Trend app or something. Anything that's that complicated, I'll see the highlights on social media. I'll see the highlights on social media later. I don't know. It was just, it shouldn't be that tough to watch. Something like this, to me, boom, this ought to be like NBC, right, front and center, just like X Games is, right? Boom, they ought to have that, like, this is some of the best, they had some guys from World RX. It's like some of the best rallycross drivers in the world competing here. This deal should have had some mainstream TV. And the fact that they had it shoved in some backwoods channel, and this isn't Nitro's fault. I'm sure they just didn't have the budget to fund it on one of the big channels. Maybe it was the first year. Maybe it was a tough sell. I don't know. They did what they could do. I know some of it was streamed, I think, on Facebook. But yeah, it was just, so that kind of stunk for fans because we had a lot of people reaching out to us like, hey, where do I watch this? I want to watch it. Where do I watch it? Anytime you have to explain to people where they have to watch stuff and it's this complicated, that's a tough sell, right? So not only that, but I know there was some last minute like rule changes, format changes. Everybody made the final instead of having like only certain guys. I think there was a bunch of last minute changes, and anytime you do that, even for the diehard fans, it makes it really, really tough because they don't know what's going on. So all in all, I mean, let's face it, Rallycross the United States last year with GRC, this year with ARX, I mean, it's just down on entries, man. We need like 15, 16 full-time guys, where we have a proper LCQ, a proper, and things just whittle their way down, whether you do it the GRC format or the World RX format. I don't know. We just need more cars. And I don't know how to do that other than costs have got crazy and nobody gets their ROI right now. So, I don't know if you bring things down. IndyCar's doing a phenomenal job of the spec format, so maybe that's something they look at in the future. I don't know. But, so, I mean, all in all, the track was insane. I'm looking forward to, I think next year they'll have a lot of the bugs worked out. Looking forward to year 2 of Nitro Rallycross. So we could talk about this all day, but we'll leave it at that. That's one of those. Hit me up on Twitter at JimBeaver15. Let me know what you guys thought of Nitro Rallycross. Definitely love to hear your comments. So yeah, we also had Lucas Oil at Glen Helen and Score down there in Tijuana. And the Tijuana Desert Challenge, I know I've kind of poked fun at this. It's the 22nd annual Tijuana Desert Challenge, when in actuality it's like the second. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Love Score. Score. You can't have a 22nd annual event and just move it anywhere in the world that you want. The Desert Challenge started in Laughlin, and then they had it in Plaster City outside of El Centro, and then Rosarito Beach, and now Tijuana. Like, you can't move it around. It would be like saying, like having the Indy 500 deciding to have it at Texas Motor Speedway and just calling it like the 102nd or 103rd Indy 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. Like, you can't just keep the name and keep the years and then like change venues. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Sorry. So I'm not calling this a 22nd annual Tijuana Desert Challenge. Can't do it. My mind won't allow me to. Anyways, they did have an event at Tijuana, and this is actually kind of a rad event. This is one that it actually piques my interest, in one that maybe potentially I would like to try and go to next year. But yeah, I mean, so overall, obviously, we're catching up with my good friend Cameron Steele next. He took the win in Trophy Truck. Rob McCachran took second. Chris Miller took third there in Trophy Truck. Gustavo Vidosela Sr. took the TT Legends win. Trophy Truck Spec went to William Hedrick, my good friend Sarah Price, she got second. John Langley third. Big shout out to Miss Price. And also ladies on the podium had Brad Wilson first in Class 1, Shelby Reed second, Brandon Bailey in third. So, yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. A couple ladies, finding their way on the podiums in some elite classes. I'm digging that. Pro Moto Unlimited, it was Justin Morgan with the win. He had, a great day there. Santiago Creel and Massimo Magini finishing second and third. I'm just looking at this Pro Moto Unlimited, man. A lot of Mexican entries finding their way to the front of the podium. Got to think, they had a leg up. They know the course pretty well there. Great run there. Then looking at Group 2, which counted UTVs, Class 10, stuff like that. Brock Dickerson taking the victory there in Class 10. Going down, though, UTVs, Wes Miller and Reese Millen finishing 1 and 2 in UTV forced induction. Wayne Matlock in the third spot, Brandon Schuler, Tony Riggs. But had a little drama there between Miller and Millen. So I guess Wes Miller lost his CV at the end of day one. Reese Millen built his car. Reese loaned him a CV. Wes Miller ended up winning, but I guess Wes Miller at some point cut the course. Final results showed Reese Millen won after a 15-minute penalty to Wes Miller. Reese posted, "Hey, we're the winners, awesome deal, whatever." Because everybody assumed Wes Miller had these penalties, which he cut the course, but somehow score reversed them, and now Wes Miller is the winner, Reese Millen's second. So they actually had Reese Millen as the winner, and then somehow at some point they reversed everything and gave it to Wes Miller. I know Reese posted on Instagram. We got a little bit of drama going on about this. Reese thinks he won, so I don't know how this deal is going to play out, but we do have a little bit of drama there in UTV forced induction. Now, we've seen Score change things at some point in time, but I don't know if it'll happen this go-around. But, so a little drama there. Caden Wells taking the UTV NA win there as well. So we do got to take a short break here, though. We come back. We got Cameron Steele going to be on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my good friend, and I don't know, you're having a pretty big year this year, Mr. Cameron Steele, but welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks so much. I'm stoked to be here, and I appreciate the time. I'm just always fired up to talk about anything Baja and racing.
Yeah, well, it was one of those. I'm like, well, Cameron's going to the Hall of Fame. We got to get him on to talk about that. And I had Mark McMillan a few weeks ago, and I was like, all right, we'll stagger these guys out as we, build up to the Hall of Fame, and then you go and win, a score race in trophy truck, your first ever trophy truck win and score, and I'm like, well, this is the time. We got to have Cam on now. But, dude, I mean, we got to talk about this. You've been working at this thing for a while, man. How's it feel to finally get that first trophy truck win and score?
I think it's kind of surreal. We're a big family, and it's a big team effort. And, everybody that's been with us and still is with us, and, I mean, everybody's been all in. So I feel really grateful to be able to be a part of delivering that for the team and all the sponsors. We haven't been a real contender until the last few years here. But we've been, really on point ever since 2007 when we got the geysers and started going for it. And our world's really shifted when we got that new 2012 geyser. But then, being a part of the BFG family really has made things change up. So it's awesome to be able to deliver that, and just to see the look on all the guys' faces, specifically Renee, who's been prepping our truck for the last few years, and he gave up his opportunity to race. He won 5 championships with my wife, and he's totally taken on the duty of being the guy that runs that truck, and just to be able to deliver that to him and be able to hug him at the finish line was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and and I know you and I have talked, you know what I mean, but we're good friends and talked off the air and stuff like that. And I know there was a time about, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, you're going to have to correct my math, but I know you were really frustrated. And, you told me, there's almost a point where you looked yourself in the mirror and said, hey, what direction do we want to take this? And I know you made some tough decisions. You changed kind of the schedule, the way the program was run. You left a lot of longtime partners for new partners. You know what I mean? You were looking for that edge. And, take us through this last couple of years because, I mean, you completely kind of revamped the way you approach things, right?
Well, definitely. I mean, I was at a point where felt like we were beating our heads against the wall. We weren't able to do what we wanted to do, and I was ready to quit. I was over it. I also didn't know if I had the confidence that I needed because I was doubting myself, and I think people around us were doubting that we're trying hard enough. And guys on my team would tell me drive faster, and there was just reasons we couldn't. And we made some massive changes in, I believe it was November of 15, and it really put us in contention, and we've been able to relearn the game. But, I mean, right away out of the gate, we ran in the top 3 at that Baja 1000. We had finished 3rd the year before. But from there on, it's just been amazing. And I think that it's changed. The class is changing. It's going really fast, and at the same time, we're finding our footing. So it's just been a great last couple of years. The hard part is, though, now that we've gotten to be competitive, really competitive. I wouldn't say we were not competitive before because we have won and had successes along the way. But now that we're really in the mix of it, where we're running in the top 5 all the time and having the podium finishes, it makes you realize really what it takes from a dollar standpoint. And, there's no backing from the family, and no, I don't really have a real job as a television announcer. Doesn't really pay that kind of fee. So we're really reliant on the sponsors. So what we're finding is, hey, if you need to have 4 underdrives and 6 transmissions and a bunch of gear sets and a couple motors, it really takes an army of stuff and people. And we don't even have all the fancy stuff. We don't have the tire sensors. We don't have the PDMs. We're a little bit down and dirty. Pardon the pun there. But we're still hardcore racers and doing it with the sponsor support. So we're realizing very quickly that it's not easy to run for these wins and championships and not have tons of interchangeable stuff. So we've been just trying to get there. I think that's really the hardest thing we've experienced as we've got to that top step.
Well, and I know talking about that because you were never one of those guys where, talent was ever an issue. You know what I mean? Everybody knew Cameron, he can drive, right? But you and I both know in trophy truck, I mean, there's that level where you've got guys that can finish top 15. You've got guys that can finish in top 10, and those guys, they may creep around a podium once in a while. And then you've got the guys that are consistently top 5. And, I mean, I've seen you climb that ladder, and you talking about that. I mean, there's a massive difference in a top 10 guy and a guy who's, in the top 5. And I mean, I know your budget. I mean, I don't know it specifically, but I know the budget that guys, like Bryce and BJ are spending and the money that they've got pouring into their program. And like you said, I mean, I consider you, and this is no knock, but you're a blue collar racer, right? Like you said, you have to have that sponsorship funding. You got to go out there and you got to figure out how you're going to make it to all these races every single year because there's no fallback. It's not like, you're sitting on millions of dollars in the bank and you can just throw them at the program, right? I mean, like to me, that's a massive deal for you to now be that guy that every single race people know Cameron's fighting for a win, and you're doing it. You know what I mean? You're doing it, and your budget's got to run in the black.
Yeah, I mean, frankly speaking, we lose one big sponsor, we might not be at the races, but we've been really fortunate to have the support of the people that are on board with us to make it happen, and we've had some great additions to the program in the last few years that have really made a huge difference. The FIDAC guys coming on board, Mike Kraft joining our race engineering has really changed our whole outlook because, frankly speaking, we've always had the mantra that there's no feelings on the race team. If it's a safety issue or a competitive issue, we just speak it out loud. Mm-hmm. But, there's still all those social graces. And Kraft has been able, along with Ken Neal, to flush a lot of that out and push us forward. And I think those guys have really helped get us over the hump. But back to where you're at, I mean, if it wasn't for sponsors, Rob Mack and us wouldn't be racing.
Yeah, and yeah, that's another guy, Rob Mack, that we talk about. And I know, he was off at Glen Helen doing that. And, I think Bean jumped in the truck for him. But, yeah, take us through this race. I mean, this is one of those 2-day races. I mean, they're shorter, and I think people look at the distance and go, it's a short race, but I look at it, and you and I both know from Laughlin and the Blue Water Challenge, in the past, and these 2-day races, I mean, your truck is put under such grueling conditions for those 2 days because it's not like, you're lifting at the Mint 400, but you got a little bit of a chance to breathe every once in a while. I mean, at a race like this, Cam, you're at 110%, 100% of the time.
Yeah. The hardest part about this race, Jimmy, is that the tire conservation is unbelievable. So a year ago, we went to this race. We started first, and my whole plan was to, drive Miss Daisy since it's so one line and really hard to get around, and just mitigate the tires. And to be honest with you, we caught a sidewall on a momentary mistake and got a flat, went backwards. The next day, we went out and put it on the chip, and you know what we did? We roasted the tires off of it just like everybody else does. And I don't care how good your tires are. The driver's an idiot. The driver's an idiot. That's what we had happen last year. And so this year we came into the race with that data and information. And, of course, my race engineer, Mike Kraft, yelling at me, telling me that we're not here to win. We're here to points race, because that was the whole point. And I'll tell you another story in a minute, but we were there to durability test as well. But I agree with you. The pace is torrid. There's hardly any passing because of the dust. There's giant rocks everywhere. There's not a ton of alternates, although we were sneaking around a little bit out there, as were some of the other guys. But, people discount those short races, but at the end of the day, those are tough-ass races. I mean, the Laughlins and the Blue Waters and this kind of race, it's just brutal. It's like, saying San Felipe is not a big desert race because it's only 300 miles long is insanity, because it's so much rougher than the Baja 1000. I mean, you could run 2 Baja 1000 on the abuse you put on your truck in one San Felipe.
Yeah. Oh, that's the truth. San Felipe is just absolutely brutal. I mean, and then the heat conditions. There's so many things that go into play in a race like that. Same with this one. I mean, and how do you approach this? I mean, day 1 to day 2, because you're leading after day 1, and then it's like, oh, man, it's like you're playing a little bit of a game there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we had a plan originally that we were gonna roll it out and not get crazy. And but what happened was Jesse, who I respect, is probably the fastest trophy truck driver in our group right now. He was setting a pace, and we were staying with him. It was only, granted, 4 or 5 miles, but he ended up pulling off, and we got some clean air to householder. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna pick it up a little bit. We're gonna suck up this minute right here because that's gonna help us on the elapsed time. And so we pulled up to, not real close to householder, but we started getting right there. And eventually he pulled over with the brake line, and then we had clean air for about 3/4 of a lap. And I'm like, all right, Bobby, here we go. We're going to get after this because right now we have clean air, and tomorrow we're going to start in the 9th position. So we kind of, don't tell my race engineer, Mike Kraft, but we kind of threw the plan out the window and said, let's get a couple minutes on these guys if we can. And we did. We went for it. And when we came around at the end of that second lap, we were very blessed to have 5 minutes on the field. And so that's when the mitigating started, when you have to start making decisions and you have to start trying to analyze the playbook of what everybody else is going to do. We were fortunate that, one of the faster drivers, Abdali, at DNF, so he wasn't someone we were racing against the second day, so we kind of took that out of the playbook. But we just basically tried to figure out how to engineer the best race against the Herps and McCachran and the Cops team and Chris Miller. They were all in the mix for that top 5, and just try to come up with the best plan we could. And it ended up working out that we went a little slower. We did not take the risk to get by the truck in front of us. And after lap 1, I thought we were going to be down about 3 minutes on the day, but we were only down 1:15, which gave us a little bit more relaxing, a little bit more time to breathe. But a little bit later on the track, we got a split that we were actually down 2 minutes. And then the truck in front of us pulled over and gave us clean air, and we went for it. We went back into that pace, maybe 90% of that, and were able to get back about 45 seconds to a minute and ended up losing on the day by a minute or so. But the race is tough because you got to really try to figure out what everybody else is doing. And we didn't have a helicopter that could relay to our pits or anything. And our pits were very limited. We had a skeleton crew, so to speak, at this race, smaller crew. Like I said, we were points racing and just happened to have the opportunity to get on the gas and go for it. And it worked out our way. It was risky the first day because we went so hard. We actually really used up our tires, and if we had to go much further, even with the BFGs, I'm not sure they could have held up to what we were putting them through. I mean, we cheese graded those things on the graded road like you wouldn't believe. We drove like complete, knuckleheads off game plan, but again, we put that time on the other trucks that made it work.
And we've got more with Cameron Steele when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out VisionWheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Got my good friend Cameron Steele here on the line. So, Cameron, I know how hard you've worked for this one. I know, you winning the Nora 1000 overall, a while back was a big deal. But, this, I guess you've got your first score trophy truck victory off your back. I guess it's one of those things where they say you get the first one, then they come. With the Baja 1000 next, I know you guys have been there. You've been in the hunt the past couple of years. It's got to have you really excited heading into the 1000.
For sure. We've been third. We've been second. We've been leading on time. We've been in the top 3 on time, I think, all of the last 5 years. And it's really an honor to be able to do that. And I'm sad that my dad's not going to be here to be at this race. I'm really stoked that he was at the Nora race with us when we won. But, the Baja 1000 is what we all work towards. And I know that Big Daddy was really a big believer. He brought me into that sport, taking me to the races starting back in 72 and put me in the race car in 82. And those things are not soon forgotten. And I just hope that we can deliver it for him at the 1000. But, it's all up to God and the gods of Baja, right? You can race against the competition all you want, but it's Baja that's going to present you the opportunity. You have to be at one with her before you get anywhere in this game.
Yeah, that is definitely sure. The 1000, anything can and will happen, it seems like. But before we let you go, man, we got to touch base on one big thing that you and I haven't even talked about yet. But Off-Road Hall of Fame, man. How special is that? I mean, you're a guy that I've known you for a long time. You've been around this sport a long time, and you've been a great ambassador to the sport, and I know you going into the Hall of Fame. One thing I love about the Hall of Fame is it's not always performance driven. You know what I mean? And I know you are going in for your ambassador work and sharing the love and the stoke of off-road racing and Baja with with some of your media work and things like that. I mean, how special is it to be going into the Off-Road Hall of Fame, especially with this class, man?
It's really amazing. It's kind of weird. I haven't really been able to embrace it. I haven't even posted one thing about it because I haven't had the time to let it saturate, but I guess it's time to go since we're going to be doing it in about a month. And not to keep beating the drum, but man, my dad died the day before the information came out. So that was crushing for me. And I think that that's been part of the reason it's been hard for me to celebrate it. But I'm really, I'm humbled by the fact that I'm going in with the class that I'm going in with, but more importantly, just overall, the people that are there, the people that have shaped my life and the people I looked up to and how many of them are there. it's kind of surreal, to be honest. It's like I don't think I'm ready to be there. Like mentally, I feel like I could have waited a decade, but I'm super stoked we're going in, and it's just a test with off-road racing, but more importantly, with the culture and the people, and whether it's because of the work we do with charities or the work we do with the media or the portrayal of the sport or how we do results-wise or a combination of all of it, doesn't really matter. The board decided it was time, and I'm honored, and I definitely want to thank Eric Morley, who nominated me, and also Nico Saad, who had been working on nominating us as well. So it's just, I don't know, just humbling, hard to talk about. I don't know, it's weird, Jimmy. It's like I don't have the words to describe how it feels because I'm not sure how it feels. It feels weird. Feels like I got certified that I'm old. How's that?
Yeah, you don't want to age yourself, especially being a TV personality, right? But
well, sometimes it's good to have some be seasoned. How's that? Let's say seasoned.
Seasoned. I can feel that, right? You're seasoned, right? But yeah, looking at the class. I mean, you're going in. You got guys like Johnny Campbell, Mark McMillan. Robbie Pierce, who on the safety side of things has helped elevate what we do in this sport. You know what I mean, and keeping us safer. But I'm just looking, at the entire list of guys, and I mean, it's just like you said, some legends of the sport. And everybody from bringing something different to the table. I think it's such a diverse class. I think that's what makes this so special with you being inducted, because I think it's rightfully fitting. We've got such a wide range of personalities going into the hall this year.
For sure. Well, what an honor it is to go with Johnny. I mean, we're both San Clemente guys. We're great friends. We ride the peninsula, every year together. And he's just a legend. I mean, it's crazy to think. I asked if we could put tables 11 and 16, no matter how they stack up next to each other, just so we can share that experience. But, just a great brother, and he's been there for me in a lot of different ways, and really shaped me into who I am today over the last, 7 or 8 years. And it's really, really spectacular to be there with him. But Mark McMillan, man, what an icon, a legend. I mean, talk about a guy that's done it all.
Yeah.
From winning all the races and being that guy to becoming the behind the scenes mojo for the whole sport. Mark really is a giant kingpin for what we do, and I have a lot of respect for him, and just everybody in the class is staggering. Like I said, I'm humbled and almost a little bit embarrassed because I feel like there's just so much more to go, at least I hope, and it feels like I'd like to do it a decade from now, but like I said, I'm honored to do it right now.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked that you're going in, buddy. Before we let you go, I know, obviously you've got all your Baja trips that you plan. We haven't even talked about Baja HQ yet, but give us a lowdown on Baja HQ, any trips you got planned. Obviously the 1,000's coming up. I mean, what's on tap next for Cameron Steele?
Well, next is focus on Baja HQ. We're an off-road aftermarket and build shop, so if you bring your truck, Jeep, van, UTV, whatever, and we're getting our feet wet in many different categories, but it's been great because you walk in the showroom and you can share with the person that comes in. They instantly become part of the family, and we can share that stoke. The race trucks are there, but primarily we're wheel, tire, shock, lighting, radios, GPS, whatever you can do to bolt on or add to your vehicle. We have a couple clever ideas that we're coming up with on our own. At least we think they're clever. But we just invite people to come down and check it out. And if we can help you out, please give us a call. And we're glad to share, even if you don't buy anything. We just want to spend some time with people and share that stoke. And next for us, honestly speaking, is we have a small Baja trip that we do called Surf and Turf. This year we kind of kept it under wraps a little bit, and we're doing it with a smaller crew. We got a couple really pointed things we'd like to try. Beyond that, we have the Method race wheels race in Laughlin. We're taking our 6100 truck to where we've been running in the top 5 in points, actually at times leading and also at times second with Bobby Pico and Mike Kraft. So that's really cool. We'll be doing that. But then, all focus Baja 1000. But in the middle there, we have a 8-day motorcycle ride to Cabo San Lucas called Rip to Cabo, which we decided to put in October this year. And I'm super stoked. We have a lot of great routes and ideas. And ABC is back on board with us. So the media for, sharing Baja is massive and solid. And I think that we're able to share that stoke with everybody through the media and through the ride. So I'm super fired up on that. I'm looking forward to riding my dirt bike. We've been riding a bunch lately, and as the weather's turning a little bit cooler, maybe someday in the near future, we'll be able to pop more wheelies. So that's kind of the end of our season is Ripped Cabo and then Baja 1000. And beyond that, I'm not sure. We're doing something that we haven't really announced yet, but Baja HQ is going to be doing a couple trips. We just did a trip with Desert Assassins, actually, who runs the trip, but Baja HQ sponsors it. We did it for free for people that come into the shop and do business with us and support some of our partners who support the trip. So we have a couple more of those coming up. So we'd love to share those with people. If people want to get involved, just let us know.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, Cameron, man. Congrats on the first trophy truck win. I'm sure many more to come, brother, and definitely looking forward to catching up soon.
For sure. Sounds good. Thank you so much. And one thing I haven't told anybody is, I mentioned that Renee is our prep guy, and we raced the Baja 500, and we did have a rear end failure, but we raced the Baja 500, did 200 miles of durability testing, and raced Tijuana all on the same prep. So hats off to Renee and Prep by Renee for making that happen.
Dude, that's insane, man. That's definitely insane. Definitely getting some longevity out of those preps. But all right, Cameron, thanks a lot, my friend.
Have a great day. Thanks, Jimmy, and thanks, everybody, for listening, and thank you for the support. God bless.
All right, awesome catching up with Cameron Steele, a good friend of mine, just a legend in broadcast, and off-road, and I think a lot of people lose sight of the fact the Off-Road Hall of Fame, it's not necessarily based on your racing credentials, where a guy like McCachran or Ivan Stewart, it absolutely is based on that, how many wins they've got and stuff like that. Guy in Cameron's case, it's what he's done for the sport, both as a television personality, but his work in Baja, his charity work, basically being an ambassador for the sport of off-road. So definitely, big props to Cameron Steele for that. Yeah, always fun catching up with him. I did a podcast with him on Project Action about a year or so ago. Definitely worth a listen. Talks about his career and things like that. So that's a great one if you want to go back into the archives of Project Action and listen to. But yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk Lucas Oil Off-Road earlier, so we're going to quick shove this in. These are results for Lucas Oil at Glen Helen, brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. So going to get to these results real quick. It was Mittag, R.J. Anderson, Greg Adler, 1, 2, and 3 in round 9 in Pro 4. And then it was R.J. Anderson, Greg Adler, and the Wildman Adrian Cheney, 1, 2, and 3 in round 10. So R.J. Anderson, a couple of podiums there. Then going to Pro 2, and you got to continue talking about Mr. R.J. Anderson. Got a win. Brandon Arthur second, Rodrigo Ampudia in third, and then round 10 it was Deegan, Anderson, and Brooks. So R.J. a pair of wins and a pair of seconds on the weekend at Glen Helen. You can't ask for much more than that. Pro Light. It was Mickey Thomas, Brock Hager, and Ryan Beat. Ryan Beat, another podium for General Tire. He's having a heck of a year in Pro Light. Mamer, Heger, and Arthur, 1, 2, and 3 there in round 10 in Pro Light. Looking at UTVs, round number 9 was Mickey Thomas, Nathan Berry, and Ronnie Anderson finding a podium. And then Miles Cheek, Brock Hager, and Mickey Thomas in round number 10. And then looking at Pro Buggy, results were Hardesty, Watson, and Nunez, 1, 2, and 3. And then round 10 in Pro Buggy was Hardesty, Watson, and Brister, 1, 2, and 3. And then looking at Turbo UTV, it was Miss Corey Weller with a win, Elliott Watson and Robert Van Beekum, 1, 2, and 3. And then round 10, it was Corey Weller with the weekend sweep. I know I got to reach out to Corey Weller, talk with her. We got to get her back on the show. It's been quite some time. Van Beekum and Watson there in second, third again as well. So those are results from Lucas Oil at Glen Helen. Got the finale coming up in Phoenix in October. So winding things down in Lucas Oil. Midwest Short Course League is wrapped up. Don't forget, we're continuing to pump out TV for that. I believe it's every Tuesdays on MAV TV. So want to hear me calling the shots in Lucas Oil Midwest Short Course League? Tuesdays, MAV TV. That is where it is at That's for sure. So, lots of Lucas Oil results there. Funny, I get all kinds of people tuning in, things like that. Got a friend of mine sent me a quote, and it's from Ricky Bobby, courtesy of the late, great Colonel Sanders. "I'm too drunk to taste this chicken." And if you are a fan of Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights, I love that movie. But I hadn't heard that quote in a while, and I'm too drunk to taste this chicken. Always good times. So, I don't know why I had to throw that in there, but anytime you can throw a Ricky Bobby quote into a radio show or into anything, it doesn't even need to fit. You just do it, right? So that is the theme of today's show. I'm too drunk to taste this chicken. We're going to take a short break. I don't know where this thing's going, but we're going to wrap things up when we return here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, we're back to wrap things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Thank you guys for tuning in. Been a fun one. Thanks to Cameron Steele. Also, thanks to RJ Anderson. Don't forget Project Action this week. Natalie Ava Marie. Also got Eddie Braun and Sean Whalen coming up the next couple of weeks. Make sure and go over to iTunes, subscribe to both the Down and Dirty Radio Show and Project Action. And when you subscribe to those, leave a rating or review. If you do take the time to leave a review, leave your Twitter, Instagram at username in the body of the review. I will see it and I will follow you back on social media. So big thanks to Polaris, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, Casey Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Optimus, MotoShield Pro, GoParts.com, and Blue Water Resort and Casino. Don't forget, go to audible.com/downanddirty. That is going to, you can start your 1-month free trial and get a free audiobook courtesy of Audible. So audible.com/downanddirty. You got to use that link, and it's going to get you a free Audible or a free audio book and a 30-day trial at audible.com. So thank you guys. Once again, it's at JimBeaver15 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. At Down and Dirty Show is a second Instagram account. Fun stuff we post over there all the time. You join our Facebook group. Check out all the web content we're dropping at downanddirtyshow.com. Also, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, hit me up in the DMs at JimBeaver15 on Instagram or Twitter, and we will get your email address added to our mailing list. Also, you can use the contact form on the website. So use the coupon code JBDirtfish. That'll get you 15% off at Dirtfish Rally School. And I don't know, lots of fun stuff. We got that Lucas Oil finale in a few weeks. We got COTA. We got World RX and ARX going to be in action at COTA. We got Off-Road Expo this weekend. So a lot of stuff coming up. It's going to be one heck of a fun month. So thank you guys for everything. Be safe. As always, game on.